Hey, how's it going, everyone? Me, Matt here, Killer Kyle. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cheshire and Dark Logger, very good. Anyway, no advertising. Yeah, we talked earlier on my on our Wheels of Fury Facebook page,
yeah.
and yeah, we just watched the John Cena, I guess, pipe bomb,
Yeah.
if you will, from last night. So I know Kyle hadn't seen it, so I thought I would bring that up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Everybody's seemingly going gaga over this John Cena pipe bomb.
yeah,
Thing is, he basically took John Cena, he took Punk's pipe bomb promo from 11 years ago,
yeah,
used some stuff from that, added his own little twist to it, like added his own things to it, and was hyping up him versus Punk at Night of Champions.
yeah, pretty much.
So I mean, like, was it was it a good promo? I mean, yeah, for what it was. Was it this? Like, okay, this is going to be a bit of a stretch. Was it this groundbreaking, earth-shattering? Oh my God, I can't believe John Cena said that promo. No.
No, no, exactly. Uh, it's not going to be talked about.
Will it be remembered? Sure.
Yeah,
Will it be remembered like Punk's pipe bomb promo 11 years ago? Punk's promo. The promo that Cena cut on Friday doesn't hold a fucking candle to the pipe bomb promo Punk cut almost 11 years ago.
that's a tongue twister.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's just it. I appreciated John's frustrations, and you could definitely tell that he let it all out in that sense. Whether there's no way that was scripted. Although, yeah, it was mostly word for word in a sense.
Yeah,
Bringing out Cardona, Castagnoli, and Nemeth's name was
right.
kind of cool.
Yeah,
But yeah, and that's the thing. I was watching Sam Roberts' emergency podcast, and he was like, "It's interesting how I think The Rock and Cena having that feud in 2011, and now all of a sudden, like years later, a decade later rather, you have John and The Rock basically teaming
yeah,
together. So that's cool. And it almost felt like The Rock was, at that time, talking about John's faults or whatever, like the Fruity Pebbles thing and the You Can't See Me thing and whatever he did.
right.
So this is a different John Cena that we've seen, and I think that's cool. Now, does that mean CM Punk is going to get the title at Night of Champions? I don't think so. But yeah, yeah. I also feel like to John Cena right now is at his best. Like he's retiring in 6 months.
Yeah, he's retiring at the end of the year.
Yeah, so retire at the end of the year.
But
I think by, well, at least before December, he'll go back to being a baby face. Maybe. Well, I'm sure he will. But judging by what happened last night, it seems the crowd was kind of getting behind him.
I mean, they're like, okay. Anytime there's mention of John Cena being the greatest of all time, people cheer. Okay. There's a few other things that John mentioned that, fans cheered. But it's like John's this heel, and he's basically getting people to hate him or attempting to. Yet when you got people cheering the fact that you call yourself the greatest of all time and whatnot, it's like, okay, you're splitting hairs here. Like, you're meant to be a heel, yet you're not really getting a full babyface reaction, but you're getting babyface reactions for stuff that you're doing as just like being a heel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, I really, I know it was like, talked about this before. It's like, okay, John Cena's last year. Let's make him a heel. See what'll happen. Let's give John Cena number 17. See what he can do with it. I feel like had John Cena turned heel 10 years ago, would have been a whole different ball game.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing, because it was the PG era. I don't know what more he could have gotten away with. Last night he said bullshitter, and then he's like, whoops, sorry kiddos, I cussed. And it's like, I don't know if he would have gotten away with that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like there's going to be that. And also, there were subtle hints that he might turn heel back then. Like,
Yeah.
he mocked The Rock. That was like the second match they had, WrestleMania 29. He was doing this and whatever, and that was heelish. I think a lot of people thought, well, he should turn heel, and he never did. He stayed true to who he was,
Right.
Which is kind of rare, but that's what he wanted. He wanted to be the hero to the kids. He was doing Make-A-Wish
Yeah.
and selling merch, and I feel like if he was a heel, then they probably wouldn't want him for Make-A-Wish. I don't know.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think SmackDown was the shits. The only good match, really, was Asuka versus Alexa Bliss.
Right.
It was just run in, and that was it for a lot of the matches.
Yeah.
With the exception of the main event, I think it was ridiculous, and that's not really a good way to sell tickets.
Yeah. Like, we'll see what happens come Night of Champions. Yeah.
Now, I mean, compare that to AEW. In my opinion, both companies are similar.
Yeah.
And I know you had said that after the first episode of Raw on Netflix, it became like a pattern, kind of.
I mean, okay, so the first episode of Raw on Netflix, you had 4 matches, you had a bit of talking for filler. You know, had an appearance by Hogan and Jimmy Hart, had an appearance by Taker. It was like, okay, first episode of Raw on Netflix. You want to start with a bang, but you don't want to, overdo it. You want to, slow burn, if you will. With the go the following week, it's essentially the same thing. Few matches, a lot of talking, and I feel, 2 hours. Like, okay, the first time with the debut episode of Raw on Netflix was like 2 hours. The following week, I'm pretty sure it was 2 hours as well. The third week, again, same thing. Matches, some talking, then like a 2 hour time frame. And it's like, okay, is this gonna be an every week thing? Like, okay, you go to 2 hours, that's fine. But there is so much more you can do with those 2 hours than, oh, we're gonna have this match.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have this person, this person, this person, this person talk. Another match. This person, this person talk. Another match. Talk. Main event. Go home.
Right. Yeah. So, in any case, yeah, I think they do need to switch it up a bit sometimes. And in some, they have had episodes where they started off with a match, but like in an instance, I also watched the Mexico episode of All Elite, which was very good.
Right, yeah.
And I told my brother last night, like, it seemed it was a lot better than the one they did in Australia.
Yeah.
At least the arena looked familiar to me. I used to watch CMLL over 10 years ago. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But again, you started off Adam Page coming out and speaking fluent Spanish,
Yeah, exactly.
which I thought was impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, wrestling is just one of those things where it's like either you're a huge fan or you can try to watch it. If you don't like it, then I mean, I guess whether you're a fan or not, there's always going to be issues, or well, not issues, but things that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
So I mean, as far as that goes, okay. And then you got the thing with Ron Killings. Well, now they're just going to call him R-Truth again. So
Yeah.
the fuck's that about? And then he beats the shit out of Elton Prince. Yeah.
Yeah.
And demands John Cena come out, and if it's gonna be his whole thing of I'm driving now every 5 sentences, like what's the use?
Yeah.
And no, I don't see Ron as the WWE champion. I mean, the guy's 54 years old. I don't want to see someone that old holding the strap. Maybe the Intercontinental title. But you look at someone like Ric Flair, who didn't want to let go of his wrestling, like, youth or whatever, and kept going until he almost fucking died in the ring. So, speaking of old, guess who's back? Goldberg. Goldberg's back.
We were gonna talk about. Well, speaking of Lucas is back. Anybody? Yeah, Goldberg's back. It's like, okay.
And is this the reason why they had to take the strap off of Jey Uso? Like, if they were going to do Goldberg versus Gunther anyways,
Yeah.
then they should have left Gunther as the champion after WrestleMania. Yeah, it was cool to see Jey with the title for a few months, but at the end of the day, for some reason, they allowed Goldberg to come back.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know how good a health he's in. Apparently, he has issues with his spine. And yet, he comes into the ring and he's like, July, Atlanta, Georgia, Night of Champions. And I'm like, July, eh?
Yeah.
That would be if Goldberg promised he was going to be somewhere and he wasn't there. Now, there's a July. No, anyways. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Goldberg's going to win. It would be wrong for him to win.
Yeah, really.
So, but we were just talking about it, and in a couple weeks we have Evolution, Death Before All In, Death Before Dishonor,
Right, yeah.
and so I guess in between now and then, like obviously we won't do anything now, but like there's a few things we could do.
Yeah.
I'll have to talk about it. I have a few things that are set up, so
Right, yeah.
and then go from there. But yeah, I just celebrated my birthday yesterday. And
14.
turning 14. Oldest I've ever been.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's funny because, especially for, I'm not going to speak for you. Well, I don't know. But people with our body types, like, I don't know how people with spina bifida,
Like how long people trying to live to live?
well, not exactly, like, what their body will do to them.
Yeah.
Let's say in another 5 years, I don't know where I'm going to end up.
Well, I mean, like, you look at, you look at, us with spina bifida. You look at the average person. We know just as much about what our body's going to be like, how far we're going to go, like, whatever you want, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
We know just as much about that as the average person does.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah. Not even sure how we got onto that. Oh, yeah. Well, so that's always in the back of my mind. This year hasn't been the greatest. So, the fact that it was a good birthday and you're going to be 16 in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just kind of, it all makes me think anyways, like, shit, you know. Anyway.
Yeah. One thing that I had thought of after we were done the Facebook Live, we're just watching some stuff on YouTube or whatever, and seeing that's read a little bit about. I'm not sure if you've seen it or not. Um, right after WrestleMania 41, Undertaker had heart surgery.
Yes, I did hear about that. Yeah.
And I was doing some reading about it. It was like, he inducted Michelle into the Hall of Fame. He put on his best act, if you will, to hide the pain, whatever. And then afterwards, he went in for the surgery and what have you.
Well, yeah, that's scary shit. Because I mean, that's not something that you take lightly.
No,
But I mean, the guy's 60 now. Yeah, I don't know. He did seem a little bit off, but I thought maybe it was just emotion or whatever. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it was anyway. But yeah, that's scary shit. Like, it can happen to anybody.
oh yeah,
But no, I heard that. I was like, wow, the Undertaker, the dead man.
yeah, exactly.
But what else? Yeah, I have been watching a lot of podcasts, like
Right.
Chris Van Vliet, Sam Roberts. I think I just mentioned.
Yeah,
So I mean, yeah, they have Gene Snitsky, and that's cool.
right.
I finished watching. I can't remember now. There's a couple I watched, but they are interesting. Corey Jade. There's another one I have to watch. She did an interview with Ariel Hawani. Not oh, tongue twister.
Yeah, exactly.
Ariel Hawani. That guy.
Yeah.
So
Well, I just say I saw on Instagram um, some few video clips of some interview or a couple of interviews that Chris Van Vliet did. One was with James Storm,
yes, that's the one.
and another one was with Shotzi.
Yes. Yeah, actually, the one with James Storm was quite interesting.
So usually, like Chris is doing an interview with somebody for his Insight podcast, and then clips of it will go on he'll put on his Instagram, and so his videos on it were like him talking about uh, the Boozer Cruiser and the whole thing with him. What was that group called? It was James Storm and Graham and
Oh, Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kings. Yeah,
Yeah.
and James Storm and Mickey James were at this
Yeah.
train station, whatever. He knocked her off the platform. Did he actually, kill her? And apparently had police to his house asking about it. It's a freaking storyline for wrestling. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, his brother is a police officer, and I guess he's in the squad car. Guy's like, yeah, is this true? So James had to take him into the house, show him the clips and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, and when he mentioned that, I completely forgot about that storyline.
Yeah.
And of course, his stuff with Bobby Roode and Chris Harris.
Yeah.
He said that when Beer Money came together, it was like him and Bobby were already wrestlers,
Right.
like veterans or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah.
they were more comfortable working with each other than him and Chris Harris were, I guess. And then, yeah, America's Most Wanted, that was an interesting story.
Mhm.
The bar, like he got in a fight, and then the guy that, or the cop that arrested him or whatever it was at a show. It's like, you better calm down, you're going to be on America's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
And so he's like, that would be a good name, but the TV show is still on the air.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was a good one. I know Karrion Cross did an interview with Ariel Lover Group,
Yeah.
so we'll have to watch that one. That looked like a good one. I saw the one with Shotzi. There's a few others. Stitsky, obviously. But I love shoot interviews. They're awesome.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, well, I'll be back next week. And hopefully with another video.
Yeah.
And yeah. So for me and Matt, this is Killer Cotto.
We'll see you later.
Nostrovia. I really hate this fucking mic. Mouse.